Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. Former President Donald Trump making his first appearance back in Washington yesterday since leaving office, addressing the America First Policy Institute Summit with a lot of the focus on 2024, but no major announcements coming from the 45th president yesterday, although that was a rumor that he was going to announce that he might be running for president. Again, that did not happen. Joining us now for more, the former Chief of Staff for the Department of Defense and Deputy Assistant to the President for Counterterrorism, Kash Patel, back with us. Kash, good morning. Good to see you.
Morning. Likewise.
Okay, so I'm wondering what you make of the timing here. On the same day Donald Trump is back in Washington for the first time in 18 months, we're about 100 days from the midterms. According to the Washington Post this morning, Donald Trump is now being investigated by the DOJ for his alleged role in an attempt to overturn the 2020 election. What do you make of the timing there?
Thanks for having me, Rob. In government, there are no such things as coincidences like that. The Department of Justice, we know, has been in communication with the January 6th committee, and we know has taken unprecedented moves in prosecutions, such as the January 6th detainee prosecution, to say they're actually going to wait for Congress to finish the investigation before the DOJ proceeds with finalizing their own. That is unheard of. Me, as a former federal prosecutor, found that astounding, but not, unfortunately, tragic and not surprising when it comes to making Donald Trump the target. And they want to do anything and everything they can to make sure he doesn't run. So they thought hitting him with that fake news would stop him. But if you watch the speech, he all but announced.
I was going to say, he basically, I would say he all but announced formally. Also, on the other side of that, and that's part of the reason you watch Newsmax, is because you're going to hear one side. Here's the other side. Two Republican senators want a special counsel appointed to look into the FBI's handling of all the Hunter Biden accusations and possible bias from Merrick Garland and his Department of Justice. What do you make of that?
I couldn't agree more. Look, as a former federal prosecutor and the guy who ran Russiagate, here's something that shocked even me. The lead FBI agent from the Russiagate investigation was the same lead agent for the Hunter Biden investigation and for the FISA abuse investigation, and has been caught hiding exculpatory information in all three investigations, as being now reported. So that investigator at the FBI is still employed and labeled. He's the one that labeled Hunter Biden's laptop falsely Russian disinformation. And if that wasn't enough, he was the one, the same agent, Auten, who handled Danchenko, who Special Counsel John Durham is prosecuting in October for lying to the FBI. This is why there's no more trust in the FBI or the Department of Justice, and the special counsel is so warranted in these situations. Yeah,
you and former Congressman Devin Nunes have been on this from the very beginning. Want to play you a soundbite. This is Donald Trump. He addressed misinformation, disinformation, and the Russia hoax yesterday in Washington. Take a listen.
You see, the Democrats are all about disinformation. Some people say misinformation. I like disinformation slightly better, but they mean pretty much the same thing. They will say something, and you're supposed to believe it. Like Russia, Russia, Russia. Oh, Trump is an agent of Russia. If they kept saying it, I might even start believing it someday.
What'd you make of that? By the way, just as comments on Russia, you can't help but laugh. I thought that at the time. I was like, Donald Trump is a Russian agent? You know, back in 2015 and 2016. It sounded ridiculous from the start, but the story was everywhere in places like CNN and MSNBC, of course.
And it's all about timing for them. They'll continue to put forth these lies. The FBI and DOJ helped them do it. The Hillary Clinton campaign paid for it. And the newest version of the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax, as you said, as I said, it's not a coincidence that they timed it yesterday, was all the January 6th nonsense that they want to investigate President Trump for. And Liz Cheney and the fake news media came out and said, oh, President Trump did not order the deployment of the National Guard. Of course he did not order it. It's illegal to do that. But what he did do was authorize it, and Pelosi and Bowser rejected it. And they're hanging on to that fake news headline to make fake news and disinformation to falsely educate American people on, oh, why didn't Donald Trump act on January 6th? Well, he did. It's Pelosi and Bowser who refused his authorization. And Donald follow the law, but that's just another example.
And important to note that authorization came well before January 6th, the actual date itself. Again, ordering and authorizing are two different things.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. I want to tell you about the Patriot Gold Group. But first, let me tell you that the S&P has already lost $8.2 trillion in 2022. Did you know that? Peak inflation is not even hit despite the Fed rate hikes on groceries, on gas. You know it as well as I do. Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs are warning of another 20% drop. Inflation is winning in a knockout right now. The Fed is going to raise rates again at the end of July. Meanwhile, Goldman, Wells Fargo, and Bloomberg are all forecasting gold to surpass all-time highs. If you want to invest in gold, call 888-936-2373 now. Call the Patriot Gold Group today and ask about their no-fee-for-life IRA. Sounds like a good deal, don't it? Here's the number, 888-936-2373. 888-936-2373 for the Patriot Gold Group.